All right, both streams should be up and running just now. All right, so we've got about 2 minutes until it closes, so we'll definitely see what the final price is here for the Qs and SPY, how they end up on the day. No doubt it's going to be a very wide range green bar, though. Let's go ahead and get started. Good afternoon. This is Ifan from the Strategic Day Trader, and this is your market wrap for February 24th, 2022. Qs up 3.2%, was gapping down around 3%, and rallied all the way back up. SPY up 1.3, and then IWM up 2.5. If you recall, coming into today, we were bearish on the market, but if we gap down, I expect us to get bought. The big question, though, was how much are we going to get bought? And then what will it look like going into the afternoon? Will that rally be a selling opportunity? Okay. And from the way that we bottomed here, with the wide range igniting bar, there's a little bit more chance that the sell setup is going to fail. Now, we haven't gotten the sell setup on the Qs and SPY. We're actually blowing right past this declining 20 MA so far. Okay, so we do need to see what a little bit of weakness looks like and what happens afterwards. Okay, so for example, okay, here we had a very similar reversal day after a gap down. This actually got sold initially at the open, then recovered. Okay, so on something like that, the next day typically is going to be a narrow range day. Okay, a lot of movement today. And you can see here we had a slight gap down. There's the closing bell, slight gap down, doji bar. Okay, so we did have this igniting bar to start things off. We really, just from the jump, just from the start, got bought. And really it's been a kind of continuous trend ever since, which is, why I thought it was kind of surprising. I was getting questions, like, can I short this double top in the Qs? Generally, when you get an igniting move like this to start things off, and it's actually been holding for quite a while, these kind of double top or whatever, same thing if you have a huge sell-off, right, and starts with a wide range bar like here, any kind of double bottom is probably not going to hold either. Okay, so momentum move to start things off, and we can see that that momentum was pretty impressive, carried through the day. I didn't expect that that was going to be the day, even though I thought, yeah, if we can play long at the open, I didn't think it was going to be all the way back to positive a good amount, 3.36% there on the Qs. Okay, so yeah, I'm impressed by the rally. We will see what tomorrow brings if there is follow through to this bar. All right. Um, and if we kind of put in some kind of short-term bottom or maybe even a longer-term bottom, we'll have to see. So you can see the hourly here. We've yet to see the hourly pivot form, but there's a little bit more likelihood that that hourly pivot is going to fail because of the way that we started the move. Okay? All right, so we'll take a look at it when that forms, maybe tomorrow morning, maybe tomorrow afternoon. We'll see. Okay? All right, let's go over the plays from today. So yeah, I did want to play long this morning on something bullish. Played this maps, wasn't able to stick with it though. The maps, I'll show you the pattern that I was looking to play. You just saw the daily chart, nice pro gap, gapping over a couple red bars here. Got a pullback 2-minute base. And then we got this breakout here. Now, you can see the volume comes in a bit on this, on our entry bar. On the 2-minute, we got a couple of inside bars. I went ahead and killed it, basically break even there on the maps. Okay, so for a bit there, it looked like it might have been an okay kill, and it, within plan, maybe a little bit of a judgment call, just because this bar is not the biggest bar on the chart, and the volume bar is not really the biggest bar. It is bigger, it is above average, but it's not. I guess the opening bar is the biggest one. It's not off the charts big, which is usually the case when they are going to fail off of that pattern. And so this did end up going. Some people in the room decided they wanted to stick with it. They weren't going to react to the wide range bar, and that's completely fine. Really like to see when people start to take ownership of their own trading and their own management, because I'm going to make mistakes, right? And maybe you see something that I don't. Maybe, you have a different management plan. And so that I 100% encourage. Of course, I'm going to try my best to manage the play. I'm in the play. I'm risking money on it too. But really like to see that. So I know some people held on to it and sold it around like 43 or 45, something like that. Ended up, could have been held all day, did maintain the uptrend, although the hourly did get broken. So if I had gone to the hourly trail, it would have gotten tagged out of it. So, but yeah, break even there on the maps, although it did end up working. I think probably worked for a little over an hour on that one is the max. Played this IO at the open, was in this just until the afternoon here. So that was kind of a deep pullback. Played it as a 5-minute high low here. I think it was up like an hour or so, held on to it. And then kind of this last pop here ended up being the end. So small winner on the IO. And so yeah, I mean, starting off, I knew I wanted to go after something bullish. I like to go after things that are showing relative strength to the market. So whenever the market's gapping down, like today, I'm going to look at the gap ups and go after those. Those have relative strength. Typically, will work nicely as the market gets going. And they worked okay. They just weren't easy holds. And then, yeah, they didn't go very far actually. And then I did have one short play into the afternoon after the market had rallied quite a bit, or late morning, and that was the TRHC as a breakdown here as the 5-minute was catching up. So got some follow through initially here, and then we lowered the stop to this pivot here, so over 70 was looking fine. And then eventually got the rally, trailed it over the hourly there. It didn't, yeah, it's actually kind of closing where we exited anyway. So partial loss on that one, on the TRHC. But overall, I mean, I don't really have a problem with this play. Nice gap, relative weakness to the market. And so small loss there, small gain there. And then MAPS was a break-even play, but I guess could have been better. So it's still a small down day for me with all things considered. So you can kind of see why. Generally, these kind of days, large gap downs in the market, if you're in the room, they're not my favorite. They introduce platform issues. A lot of times, whatever the market does is a little bit of an outlier. And then on days like today, where the market just rips from the open, it's going to be hard to play longs if you're not playing them early, because it's going to feel late as the market's moved up a lot. A lot of the shorts are going to fail at any point in time because the market, is just staying strong and they're not coming in. So it makes it hard, especially if you don't get the idea, the call right at the open. Now, the good news is, or the good thing is, and that's probably why I don't get that much experience just on a yearly basis of trading 3% gaps in the market. But they don't happen all that often. And especially if we look at the past few years, yeah, most days are going to be like this kind of stuff, which, is going to be the majority of the days. And then some days you'll have days like today, which was a gigantic range here that we got today. So gap down and was able to bully. It was a novice gap, but we didn't know that it was going to rally as much as it did. So yeah, so we got, today out of the way. I think some people probably did pretty well today. It's not saying just because I struggled, everyone else struggled. Sammy had some nice calls here. LNPH in the afternoon as a 15-minute buy setup. That worked out well. From the morning, the GDYN as a climactic here on the GDYN, right? So pretty nice there on that recovery. So so there were some things to do. I kind of just couldn't really get going. Always felt a little bit off balance, partially due to the gap, partially because of the trades I was in. IO was like pretty whippy and penny stock, and I guess that's not something I like to trade a lot. And so to start off with that, and then the maps started off with a little bit of spread. TRHC I felt fine with. I'm honestly not too bothered by this one. Management was fine. I don't mind the play, the relative weakness, all of that. I thought it was the best kind of short idea. Eventually, it's just, stop going down as the market continued to power higher. So, yeah, kind of a rough day. I know some traders too, they kind of just take days like today off because they're kind of so unusual we could, I mean, in the future or even in the near future, reach a period where these days are more common. In which case, I'll get a little bit more practice and be a little bit better at them. But I really just I didn't know that it was just going to be a power trend day. Otherwise, I mean, just buy the market at the open. Why even bother with the other plays if this is going to be the thing that has a really consistent uptrend? And I think even if you just went hourly bar by bar, you're in until end of the day. So, it's a lot harder to know, of course, ahead of time. In which case, I was waiting to see how strong this rally would be, and it turned out to be very strong. So tomorrow, given that, right, a lot stronger of a rally than I expected. All right, we'll see what tomorrow's potential, maybe a small gap down, little doji bar. That should be enough to create an hourly sell setup. Once we get the hourly sell setup, we'll have a new line in the sand. And then if we take that new pivot out, then this hourly downtrend will be over. We'll probably shift to neutral and then see what kind of pattern shows up from there. All right. All right, guys. We'll be back at it tomorrow, and I'll talk to you then. Have a good evening.